Could Mainland be the next large competitor to Mount & Blade to a Bannerlord? Well, I don't know, but the game looks really interesting and I'm pretty excited to see how this one does develop. Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be diving in and taking a look at Mainland. This has recently popped up on Steam, currently is not out and definitely looks very much early in development, but as per the Steam page it says enter a cooperative medieval realm, forge alliances, lead armies, and engage in epic battles. Shape history with dynamic policies, or test your mettle against others in fierce player versus player combat. And this is what really kind of piqued my interest, and one thing that I thought, yeah, I'd go ahead and make a video about this, because it even states down here on the Steam page that, you know, it takes a lot of inspiration from the Mount & Blade series, which is kind of funny that they put that on their Steam page. It seems like the game's heavily focused around having a multiplayer experience in their campaign, which is obviously something that Bannerlord doesn't have and is actually severely lacking. The game currently does have a little cinematic trailer up over on their Steam page, which I'll play for you in a second, and then after that we'll take a look at some of the stuff they've mentioned over on their Discord along with the rest of their Steam page. Let's dive into that trailer right now.
Tell me, are you ready to fight? Because you should be. A peaceful life is not forever. The war is coming to the kingdoms. You can't stop it, but you can put an end to it. Gather the people, inspire them, and lead them into battle. And don't forget to take some friends with you. But be careful. Among power and gold, friendship is not so reliable. It is a long way, but in the end, you will rule the mainland. I thought you'd never come. Tell me. Are you ready to fight?
So overall, a pretty interesting trailer. We didn't really get to see much in-game stuff. There were a few scenes here and there, like the one with the soldiers on parade outside, or actually inside one of the castles. Looked pretty cool. However, again, a lot of them just all have the same uniforms on, were all the same character models. So I still think, you know, so much work still has to go into this. But I guess the main purpose of the trailer is just to go ahead and show that the game is in development, start building up a little bit of hype, make people wishlist the game, as well as just kind of focus in and grow the popularity, which I think is, you know, an absolutely fine thing to kind of give people a taste of the game. But again, we still need to see so much more. We also got to look at a ton of screenshots from it, and again, they look very basic, very cinematic. Many of them probably not, you know, kind of set up with in-game, you know, kind of in-game engines. This is probably all kind of just like set up to kind of, again, show off the game, show a little bit of glimpses. They look really cool though, and definitely something that hopefully we get to see a lot more. One of these scenes right here that we're looking at looks pretty cool. Again, there's a lot more variation in the uniforms. It does seem like the character models probably do need a lot more work though. They seem kind of basic, and again, they probably are just placeholders. I imagine this game is only going to release, it does say PC 2024. I imagine it'll probably come into early access towards the end of 2024, because it does seem like it probably does still have quite a bit more work to go, as I keep on saying. But these do look cool. These do look cool. And with the focus on multiplayer, like, it looks great. And the actual size of the battles look kind of cool as well. Look at that little formation right there with the army in the center and then they're being surrounded. Like, the large scale battles look pretty decent. I believe I saw over on their Discord, they were saying that the battles are planned to be up to 1,000+ people, which again is a decent size. That's how much Bannerlord goes up to. So again, if they can do that, that would be pretty impressive. And then we get down here onto their Steam page. Again, you can join their Discord. I'll, of course, link this if you want to go and wishlist it just to keep up to date with the game. They go ahead and talk a bunch of information right here on how exactly the game is going to function. So first things first, they say forge unbreakable alliances or fight other players. Rally your friends or team up with other players In a seamless cooperative multiplayer experience, build your own band of warriors, each with unique skills and abilities, plan and execute strategies together in massive battles to test your teamwork and leadership. And honestly, if they can pull that off, I think that's going to be one of the biggest pulls to the game, because there's stuff like Wilhelm, and there's so many other kind of co-op games which you have a small group of people and you experiment in the world, which are just super popular, and that's because you can kind of just hang out, chill with your buddies, and play some games, play some battles. It's something Bannerlord could really benefit from if Taleworlds ever planned on doing that. Like, it would be such a big pull to the game, and with this being at the center of the experience, I think it will hopefully provide us with just so much fun, because yeah, a co-op Bannerlord style game is just what everybody wants. Next, we have kind of the setting, so immerse yourself in a sprawling, realistic medieval world filled with kingdoms and villages. Choose your path, serve as a lord, establish your own kingdom, or become a fearsome warlord, engaging in epic sieges, skirmishes, and large-scale battles that will leave your mark on the realm. So right here, again, it's going to be a medieval era, much like Bannerlord is. You're not going to be kind of going into future eras or kind of, lower tech eras. It's going to be set in the medieval world, but again, that does spawn a large period of history, so I don't know if it's going to be early medieval or later. It does look like it's going to be a bit more later with the type of equipment people were wielding in the trailer, but again, probably mid to late, I would imagine. The next thing on there is talking about mechanics and battle mechanics, which I don't think are too important. Like, yeah, you're going to be fighting. We didn't get any glimpses of how combat's going to work in the game, really. If it's going to be kind of you're playing as an individual character, which I imagine you will be, but is it going to be like the 4 style of combat? Is it going to be more of just like you're swinging more like an action combat? We don't know that yet. We're going to have to obviously keep a good glimpse on it and keep on just kind of seeing when they I guess release more information about the battles. But right now, again, it's just fancy words. Next, they talk about what you're going to be able to do in the world. This is trade goods, participating in tournaments, and completing quests. Again, all that stuff you can do in Bannerlord, but they do also go on to say become a renowned merchant, a tournament champion, or even a renowned outlaw. And this is something I hope they really do focus on a bit more. Like in Bannerlord, there's really only one playstyle, and that's fighting battles and conquering castles. Yes, you can trade, but there's then nothing to spend that money on. You could have 1 billion gold, and then what do you do with it? So I hope in Mainland that they do focus on giving you them alternative playstyles, like letting you become a rich and powerful merchant, and then letting all that money actually like get you to buy other lords' loyalty, or force kingdoms to go to war, or buy massive castles and armies. Like, all that stuff would be really cool, right? Like, imagine in Bannerlord if you had billions of gold and you could just have a huge army, like you have 1,000 soldiers under your personal command because you've built up the economic infrastructure for that. That'd be super cool. That's something I'd like to see in Mainland. And then finally, they say deep political intrigue, negotiate a complex web of medieval politics and diplomacy, forge alliances, rivalries, etc., etc. Again, something massive that Bannerlord doesn't have is any form of diplomacy really whatsoever. So this is always a really interesting time when an indie developer does look at a game like Bannerlord and thinks, hey, what does that game lack? Yeah, it might not be as high end on the graphics kind of theater, or it might not be that, kind of that in depth in the battle systems, but it can look at that and be like, what can we do better than Bannerlord? Immediately, better play styles, more merchant style, tournament styles, all that stuff could be developed so much more. And the diplomacy and the co-op, like, they're the things that Bannerlord is lacking, and this game could come in. I mean, just look at games like Mainland. As an indie developer who was at the start just him, obviously his studio's now grown a little bit more freelancers, etc., etc. But people like this can look at these pre-existing games and think, hey, what does that game lack? What can we do better? What can we focus on? And yeah, if they can pull this off, then I think it's going to be such an exciting game to play. I highly recommend you just go and wishlist it to go and show your enthusiasm for the game, and also just to keep up to date with it. Like, this is how I kind of keep up to date with titles. I just wishlist them and check on them now and again. I think it's a good way just to simply keep up to date. But that is going to be it for the video. Just taking a look at Mainland. We got a little glimpse of the campaign as well, which I'm sure I would have shown you. Again, it looks very early development, but very Bannerlord-esque. The overworld, this is going to have battles, overworld, etc., etc, etc. And I'm just super excited to see how this game does develop in 2024. Definitely one I'll keep up to date with. If you guys want to make sure to never miss any updates to Mainland, I will obviously keep on covering it on the channel if that's something you guys want to see. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like, drop a comment down below. The better this video does, the more likely I am to cover the game in the future, so let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one.